Hello everyone, welcome back to
the channel.
I brought you all here for this support meeting to talk about the Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. Now, I have to agree with Witchy Reads, who, when I was doing my reading sprint, actually said that it's pretty much like Marmite, Grady Hendrix. Same with his stories. You either like him or you don't. You either like the story or you don't. There's no in-between. It's no, it was an okay book. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. There's nothing like that. It's either you like it or you don't. When I first read this, I was pretty much in the not kind of a fan of it because there was a lot going on in this story. We'll go into that in a second. For Witchy Reads, thank you for just talking to me about it and giving me your opinion and your side of it. Link down to her channel. Definitely go check her out. She's absolutely amazing, wonderful, and she goes very in-depth with a lot of the stuff that she talks about, and I appreciate that. Let me just read the blurb of the book, and then I'm going to just go ape about this book, because in this book I finished this basically within 24 hours, and so far ever since I've dreamt about it and it's living rent-free in my head, and I don't know if it's for the right reasons or the wrong reasons, and maybe a mixture of both. I don't know, but let's just go into this. So the blurb: Lynette Tarkington survived a massacre 22 years ago and is defined every day of her life since. And she's not alone. For more than a decade, she's been meeting with 5 other final girls and their therapists in a support group for those who survived the unthinkable, putting their lives back together piece by piece. This is until one of the women misses a meeting and Lynette's worst fears are realised. Someone knows about the group and is determined to take their lives apart again, piece by piece. But the thing about these final girls is that they have each other now, and no matter how bad the odds, how dark the nights, how sharp the knife, they will never ever give up. That sounds like badass, like women sticking together, all that jazz. Absolutely a fan of that. Fucking go for it. Not how it originally plays out. Basically, the whole start of it is, this is Lynn. Lynn is extremely unhinged. She is extremely paranoid. She is OCD, and she has an imaginary friend who technically isn't really imaginary because it is a plant, but like she talks to him in her head. This plant's called Fine, by the way, as in final plant, because she's a final girl. Now, all the people in this, there's I'm gonna butcher this. So we've got Heather, Adarin. I don't know how to spell, and I don't even know how to say a name. I'll put the name down below somewhere. We've got Julia, Danny, and Marilyn. And the best thing about this is that each one of these girls is based off an actual horror movie. So we have Heather is from Nightmare on Elm Street. We've got Friday 13th. We've got this person that I can't pronounce for some reason. Scream, we've got Julia. Halloween for Danny. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre for Marilyn. And they're all brilliantly done. It was pretty much instant. You knew who was who. And I was okay with that. You know, I clocked it. I clocked that pretty fast. And other people will instantly clock that too. But when it's me, because sometimes I'm really slow on the ball, I was like, got it. Lynette, Lynn. All these women, by the way, all these characters are like 50-year-old plus. 50 to 60 years old. They're strong, independent, older ladies who have gone through some shit that they shouldn't have to go through, but they're trying to get their life back on track. And they're doing certain things. For example, Marilyn marries someone rich. Heather kind of got stuck with the drug situation. Danny, Julia, that they've kind of gone on with their lives, and one of them doesn't turn up. The main thing about this is, as we kind of see Lynn, you pretty much instantly realise that Lynn is extremely unhinged. She's extremely paranoid, OCD, just a little bit tapped compared to the other girls who are just trying to move on with their lives. And it becomes very clear that they're only going to this support meeting with a therapist for Lynn, who thinks they're actually doing it for someone else. because she's just mental. Now, throughout the story, you just think, wow, she's really crazy, and it gets worse and worse as you go through the story. Like, wow, she's unhinged, she's bonkers, she's crazy, she's creepy. And it gets to a point where you're just kind of fed up a little bit as you're going through the story, but things kind of take a turn where you realize the reason why she is the way she is in this book is because when something traumatic happens to a person, for example, I clocked this at a certain point in the book, and I was like, I get it, I understand. Because everyone's gone through something that this happens to, right? You go through something traumatic, your body, your mind, everything is kind of on high alert. You get paranoid, you look over your shoulder, you put things in place to make yourself feel safe. But it gets to a certain point where you realize you are safe and everything's okay, and your body and your mind calm down. You go into a kind of a neutral sort of state, and you slowly, through time, heal and get over that. Not for Lynn. No, she's been living on that little ledge for 20-something years. And she was right to. She was absolutely right to. This is why everyone thought she was crazy, because she was on this ledge and she just never, her body just never seemed to get out, like, go over it. It's not said specifically, but it's hinted at it, especially towards the end. And the reason why her body's just never gone to that state of healing and I'm okay, no one's watching me, I'm not paranoid, I'm not crazy or anything like that, is because someone was watching her for a long time. For a long, long time. And no one else realised it, but apart from her, subconsciously. But there's a point at the end of the book, which I absolutely love, by the way. I know this is probably going to ruin it just a little bit, because I love this about her character. Because the whole time I was like, she's insane. She's so fucking unhinged. Why does he write all the women, like, main woman, female characters with, like, really bad friendships or relationships? Like, it's definitely a shtick that he does. But there's a bit at the end where she wakes up and she's like, didn't have an anxiety attack. Like, I felt my heart go a little bit, but I wasn't nauseous, I didn't have a panic attack, I didn't do this, I didn't do what I normally do. And it was like, you finally realise you've sorted the problem out and your body's now going into that healing process. Now is that moment for your character to blossom. I loved that for the ending. I know that's like a huge spoiler. Now, the one thing that I know that I'm definitely going to take away from this is some advice from Danny, the character Danny. And I think she's probably my favourite character in this. Is that she has this advice where one plan is none, but two plans is one. And I think in life, I'm actually going to take that away and be like, amazing. Throughout the book, it has these random bits just at the end of each chapter before it goes into one, where it's like a random, it's on a black page, so you do see the difference like in the pages as you go along. It breaks up a little bit, but it's full of like mixed media, forum posts, newspaper rippings, interviews, movie box office sort of stuff. And I thought that was really interesting. It adds a lot to it. But the main thing, it actually destroyed my eyes just a little bit, is that the writing is absolutely tiny for it. Like, I was like bringing the book straight up to my face, and that's really my only like criticism, is that, well, I love that they did that with, I love when books have mixed media in them, and it definitely adds to it. I struggle with that just because of the size of the writing a little bit, and the fact that she was just an unhinged character, and I've never read such an unhinged character before in my life, where I was like, wow, she's kind of like, it annoys me a little bit. But when I kind of clocked her with the character, clocked Lynn with the character, like all of the stuff that she's gone through and going from A to B to C, and her thought process and actually having it click, I was like, wow, I'm actually enjoying it, and that's why I breezed through it within a day. Would I recommend this book? Absolutely. I enjoyed this book. I'm happily going to have this on my shelf for a long, long time. And I wouldn't mind handing it out to some people. I definitely like there's certain bits in the book as well where fun-wise is the interaction between some people. Like, Lynn goes to a therapist's place when she has like her moment where things are not the way they should be, and she meets one of her young kids, and he's called Pax, who's an 8-year-old, where she's literally just gotten there, and her therapist, Carol, Dr. Carol, is like, yeah, you can go here, and she's kind of explaining like the rules of the household while she stays just for the night. And Pat comes up and he's like, as an 8-year-old does, you know, when you see the cogs turning, my nephew has the same sort of look and thought process as his character, and I thought, wow, this is Josh. He literally just looks at Lynette and he's like, are you crazy? And the mum's literally like, Pax, no! Like, you don't do that, like, berating as a mother does. And Lynn just turns to this 8-year-old and goes, fuck off. And then the mum turns to, Dr. Carol turns to Lynn and starts mothering her as well, and they both get told off. And it just, the way that situation plays out is brilliant and fantastic. It's one of my favourite ones. There's also the fact that she talks to a plant called Find, who is known as the final plant, because out of the 4 plants, it's the one that survived. But she talks to him in the head. And she like talks through scenarios and stuff, and the plant would respond in her mind. That's the baffling bit for me more than anything. But I actually really enjoyed this book. It's a fantastic read. I read through it so fast. The way that we got from like the A, B, C, D throughout the book, for the thought process and to who was doing what, it was very well done. I half got it right. I guessed a certain bit and I was half right with what I thought it was going to be. But I just didn't click the other bit. And when that bit came through, I was like, oh, I should have known. But I didn't. 4 out of 5, absolutely. Absolutely brilliant. Unhinged heroine. Never read that before. Enjoyed it thoroughly. Definitely give it a read. Give it a shot. Give it a chance. Make sure you go past the halfway mark. I know a lot of people, when they don't feel for a book, they'll go to like 100 pages. But please try and read the whole thing before you give up. It's absolutely fantastic. I enjoyed the book. Witchy Reads did not like the book, and you know what? I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. But I ended up really enjoying this book. I just couldn't fathom the whole like unhinged, crazy bizarreness of it all, but it made sense. It clicked at the end. It was a perfect ending for the book. Absolutely perfect. Right. Be good, you beautiful people, and I will see you all very, very soon. Our next video of Curtain of Alice will be up on Sunday around 6 PM GMT. We should also be doing a live playthrough of the 4th book for Lone Wolf, which I'm excited to do because I get you all to help me make choices because I can't make choices for my own. And yeah, I will see you all very, very soon. Be good, make good decisions in life, and love. Bah!